What's going on, family? What is up? What is up? Welcome to tonight's stream. As you guys can see on the screen, we're gonna get started, guys, in just under 3 minutes. And I'm excited about tonight's session because, as you know, it is the last live stream for the week, and we've been having a phenomenal week. It's been a very crazy week because very choppy week overall, very slow week. But when talking about these streams, we've been on fire. And that's exactly what I'm bringing tonight is more energy, more value, more education. If we can get some trade ideas, we'll be looking at that as well. So I need you guys to be excited. I need y'all to go ahead and tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a dog, to tell a other dog, to tell a aunt, to tell a grandma, tell whoever, right? Just know that if you really want to learn how to trade, if you want to get better, this is where you got to be at this time on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, family. So if you guys can hear me loud and clear, if you guys can see the countdown, let me know by dropping your locations in the chat. Also, go ahead and spam the like button as well if you guys are ready to gain some value, because we're going to really go ahead and turn up some crazy, family. So we're going to get started in just under 2 minutes. Let's get it. Let's go. What's good, family? How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all. I got my bottle of water ready because I know I'm gonna be talking a lot. I talk every single stream a lot, but it's usually just providing you guys with a lot of value, right? So as usual, I'm super happy and grateful to be here with you guys tonight. I'm extremely happy and grateful to actually see all of y'all tuning in, showing love, ready to learn, ready to turn up. But go ahead and continue dropping those locations down low, family. Drop your locations. Let me see exactly where you're tuning in from, because like I always say, we're gonna have another phenomenal stream today. If you guys were on yesterday's stream, guys, go ahead and drop a 333 in the chat as well, because yesterday was another banger that we absolutely dropped, right? A lot of value, a lot of education was provided. And I promise you, family, if you guys miss these sessions, you always do have the ability to go rewatch them. The beautiful thing about doing these streams here on YouTube is that it all saves, right? You guys are always able to rewatch it if you missed it. You guys can rewatch it if you did catch it, just to maybe get some nuggets that you might have missed. That's one thing that I absolutely did tremendously, guys, right? Whenever I found somebody that I actually liked listening to and that was actually very knowledgeable, I would watch their videos not just once, right? Because I know if I only watch it once, I might get some nuggets here and there, but I'm probably going to be missing out on a crap ton of them. So I like to watch videos, guys, especially the good ones, numerous times, right? 3, 4, 5 times, just so that I eventually really understand what's being said. So that's the same thing that I really encourage you guys to do. Now, these streams are very long, right? Typically, we're going for around an hour and a half to 2 hours long, but I promise you, it is mostly straight value that will only help you guys out tremendously, family. So if you guys were on yesterday's stream, family, drop a 333 in the chat just so that I could see who was really here with us yesterday. If this is your first time watching me on stream right now, go ahead and drop a 444 in the chat just so that I can gauge that as well. Because if you are newer to the streams, family, I really do like breaking down a lot of different things for y'all, right? So I typically have to really just break down some things so that you guys are up to par on how I trade, on how I analyze the markets, on how these streams typically run. Yeah, but one thing I will tell you is that I promise you, I will provide you guys with some type of value. Now, if you guys are watching this right now and you are not subscribed to this channel, I'm not going to beg for your subscription. I want to earn your subscription, right? So do not hit subscribe just yet. I get it. You want to comment in the chats. The only way to actually comment in the chats is if you're actually subscribed, and then you wait 1 minute so then you can actually go ahead and talk. But I want to earn it, right? I'm not one of these YouTubers, guys, that's going to try to beg for it. I want to earn your subscription by the amount of value that I'm providing, right? So if I'm able to get yours or earn your subscription sometime throughout the session, then that is absolutely what I strive to do. All right, but let's see what we got in the build. I see we got New Jersey in the house. 20 Pip Savage, I see you. What's going on, my brother? How are you doing? Right, let's see what else we got in the building today. We got ATL in the house. Shout out to you. What is going on? How are you doing, my brother King Lions? I see you in the building. We got Philly in the house. What is up? What is up? I see, can we get a full class breaking down fundamentals? I'm actually going to be creating a video really talking a lot about fundamental analysis and how to utilize that and sentimental analysis to pretty much really create a nice long-term bias, right? Because, again, if you're newer to these streams, family, one thing that I do is I definitely talk about fundamentals, right? I don't avoid it. I can't avoid fundamentals as a currency trader, okay? For me personally, and again, I just talk for myself, me understanding fundamentals is what absolutely made my percentage win rate. It's what really made my ability to trade profitably go up tenfold. Because at the end of the day, fundamental analysis, guys, is what dictates long-term direction. It's not your trend lines. It's not your support and resistance, your supply and demand. Like, yeah, we can use those as technical areas to play off of. But long-term direction is decided by fundamental analysis. These are things that we have to be aware of and we have to understand. So I definitely talk a lot about fundamentals. Yesterday, I actually really spoke to you guys as well on how to use sentiment in the markets to really trade these markets to the best of your ability, which again is something that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have never even heard of before. Because, I mean, we hear this so often, right? It's a very basic thing when people talk about the different forms of analysis that we have here. I want you guys to answer this in the chat, family. What are the forms of analysis that people utilize to actually trade these markets? Go ahead and answer that in the chat for me real quick. All right, answer that in the chat and we'll get back to that. But to answer your question, CareLab, yes, I will be creating a video for you guys, right? But go ahead and answer that in the chat real quick. Right, I see we got Brother O in the building. What's going on, Brother O? I see you in the house. We got Philly in the building. What's up? We got Sri Lanka in the house. Alabama, Las Vegas. We got Texas. What's going on, Benny? I see you. We got Louisiana in the building. We got Savage Land, USA. Shout out to my Savage gang. I see you, 20 Pip. Right, we got Philly in the building. Trinidad and Tobago. We got Colombo, Sri Lanka in the house as well. Right, shout out to you guys out there in Sri Lanka. Nigeria in the building. We got the boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Skaggs checking in. Shout out to my boy Skaggs. Right, we got Texas Made in the house. Let's see, I'm in profit on the Euro sell. Shout out to you, Harry. That's amazing. We're definitely going to take a look at the Euro for sure. Right, we got New York City in the house. We got Kenya in the building. Vermont, my guy Kyle. What's going on, bro? Good to see you in the chats as well. Shout out to all my Noti gang members. I appreciate y'all. Right, we got Chicago in the building. Right, shout out to my guy Christian out there in Chicago. We got Orlando, we got LA, we got Houston, Texas in the building. Right, let's see what else we got. We got Jamaica in the house. Shout out to every single one of y'all, right, that's out here. Let's see what else we got here. You earned my sub. I appreciate you, Linda. Thank you so much. Let's see, Abel is always able, right? Abel is always able to provide you guys with value, and that's something I strive to do, right? Let's see, indeed, a value-added sub. Let's go. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We got Chattanooga in the house. What's going on, Tierra? Good to see you in the building. We got VA in the building, right? Let's see, you know who, my guy G. What's going on, Gerald? Good to see you in the chats. How are you doing, my brother? Good to see you. We got Adept Mike in the building. What is up? What is up? Let's see. Can we get a class on fibs and settings, right? For sure. I mean, I could talk a little bit about fibs today. Full transparency. I really don't use fibs as much as I used to, but I'll definitely break it down for you guys that are interested in utilizing fibs to, you know, figure out what to do with fibs, right? So I got you. We'll definitely talk about that for sure. Just remind me, Tierra, so I don't forget. Let's see what we got here. Love the golden makeover, by the way. I appreciate that. You know, we're trying to add a little spice, you know, to these streams, right? Let's see. We got Jamaica in the house. What's going on, Destin? How are you doing? Let's see. Please, can we get a thorough class on risk management, right? I see a lot of recommendations today. And yeah, I'll try my best to really make all these recommendations pretty much come true, right? Because I'm pretty much here to be a servant leader to you guys at the end of the day, right? I know you guys come here to learn, and I want to be that person where you guys are able to come to and learn from, all right? So the question that I had asked, guys, was what types of analysis are out there today, right? What type of analysis is out there today that is being utilized to actually trade these markets? All right, I see we got a few of you guys that are actually giving me the answers. We got Mike in the building. We got Coleman, right? Kyle, 20 Pips Savage. 100% true, guys, right? There is three main ways to analyze the market. We have technical analysis, right? Which technical analysis pretty much has to do with anything to do with the charts, right? Learning how to read price action, learning how to read structure, right? Utilizing various tools in the market to try to create confluence. All that stuff is technical analysis. Then we have fundamental analysis, which has to do with data, actual news and data, right? Another big deal. And that's just something that I feel like is probably one of the most important ways to really analyze the markets. And then we have sentimental analysis, which has to do how, you know, with sentiment across the board, right? How are investors, how are institutions feeling about the state of the economy, which is going to cause their decisions on what they should do moving forward, which in the end will possibly react or cause some type of reaction to the markets. So those are the three main reasons or three main forms of analysis out there. Now, the biggest thing here, guys, this is why I brought it up, is that 99.99% of traders, all right, especially the ones that you're going to find here on YouTube or on different platforms, they're really only going to talk to you about technical analysis, right? Because technical analysis is usually what most traders only really know, okay? And I'm not saying that you can't become profitable solely trading technicals, okay? Because the first 4 years of my career, my quote-unquote trading career, right, was me just trading solely off of technical analysis. And it is possible, guys, for you to become profitable solely understanding technicals. But the thing is, if you're only going to trade based off technical analysis, then your ability to be disciplined has to go through the roof. Your ability to truly understand and practice risk management has to go through the roof. Because a big reason why a lot of traders that only trade technicals really do not succeed is because there's so many different factors that cause the markets to absolutely go crazy. And if you're not aware of things from a fundamental standpoint, and especially like the markets that we're experiencing at least this week, you're probably going to be dealing with either a lot of losses or a lot of break evens. And typically, most traders, and again, I'm really speaking, guys, from experience more than anything, but most traders usually end up blowing their account the same exact week that they actually funded their account. Again, if the truth hurts, if what I'm saying right now is something that you can resonate with, there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. We all go through that experience, right? I'm the king, or I used to be the king, guys, of blown accounts. And I have no issue trying to hide that or trying to say anything otherwise, right? Because those blown accounts is ultimately what really taught me what to not do overall, right? But I used to be the king of blown accounts. And I used to always, for the most part, a big portion of my blown accounts that I had over my first 2 years, all right? Because again, I'm very transparent, guys. I went 2.5 years with no results whatsoever. Let me say this one more time. I went 2.5 years with no results whatsoever. Okay, and I have no problem telling you guys this because I also want you guys to understand that I'm relatable. Everything that you guys are either going through right now or will eventually go through, every single other person that's successful today also went through it. All right, I want you guys to understand that, right? And shout out to the newest subscriber in the building. All right, IJB, I appreciate you for being subscribed. Welcome to the familia. I'm glad I was able to earn your subscription. That's absolutely amazing. Now, because you're the newest subscriber, you get your name right at the bottom of the screen. So go ahead and shout out to you. Everybody that's already a part of the family, go ahead and just give us a big welcome. Drop a welcome in the chat for our newest subscriber. You know, I don't play when it comes to subscribers. Anybody that does subscribe and shows me love, I want to make sure that you feel welcome and that you get massive love right back sent your way, right? So everybody go ahead and drop a welcome in the chat really quickly, right? Really quickly. But back to what I was saying, right? Again, I have no problem admitting these things because right now it's my job as an educator to try to make things relatable to you guys. There's not one thing that you are going to go through that I did not go through. In fact, anybody that you guys see that's in the chat with my moderators, right? Shout out to the boy Skaggs. Shout out to the boy Kyle, a couple of my moderators in the chat. Everything that you're going to go through, they also went through as well. So they could co-sign everything that I'm saying. In fact, if you guys, and this is something I want y'all to do, if you guys do gain some value, guys, from this stream, then also make sure to go ahead and show their channels some love as well. Right? Because you guys know I'm only going to co-sign people that I truly know that are actually doing this thing, right? That are actually trading and have been trading for years. Right? So if you guys like this value, then make sure to go ahead and show them some love as well. Right? Those are two of my closest trading buddies. Two people that I truly respect in this space. And it's just something that I truly recommend you guys to do. You know, again, because they're going to be providing a shit ton of value for you guys as well. Just throwing that out there. But back to what I was saying. All right? Blown accounts is nothing. Right? Blown accounts is a part of the process. But this is the biggest thing, right? Just because I'm saying blown accounts is nothing doesn't mean you have to continue blowing your account. That makes no sense. Right? Once you start going through that phase of you depositing money, blowing your account, and then having to deposit again, and then you consistently go through that phase, there's going to be a point in your trading career where you're like, yo, enough is enough. Yo, I'm tired of blowing these accounts. And if I'm going to be honest with every single one of you guys, family, if you guys want honesty out of me, drop a 4 in the chat right now. Right? Because you guys know I'm all about honesty, right? If you really want to take things a whole nother level, then you're really going to have to master your ability to be disciplined. I truly believe that discipline is the biggest or one of the biggest separators from the profitable traders to the non-profitable traders. Because I know for a fact that there's a lot of you guys on this call right now that understand technicals like the back of your hand, but for some reason it's still not adding up to profits long term. Now, I can't tell you exactly what's going on with you, right? But you know what's going on. One thing that you have to understand, guys, is that you also have to have the awareness of what's going wrong, but also have the discipline to really change it. Right? Shout out to our newest subscriber, Shelby. I appreciate you. Right, family? Go ahead and drop some more welcomes in the chat. I'm going to have you guys typing all night, by the way. Right? I'm going to have you guys typing all night. You guys know I love asking questions. I love having you guys engaged. Right? I don't want to see nobody. Like, I wish there was a way, you know, where I could actually see your guys' faces as well, right? Because I want to make sure everybody's up, everybody's awake, and everybody's paying attention. Right? So I might have you guys asking a lot of questions. Right? The superstar students are going to be active, and they're going to be answering every single question that comes up, no matter what happens, right? Whether it's right or wrong, I want you guys to truly answer with what you think. Right? One thing we're not going to do here, guys, one thing that I never do is I never downplay nobody. There's no such thing as a dumb question, and there's really no such thing as a dumb answer, especially when you're learning. So please don't ever feel discouraged about answering a question because you feel like it might be wrong. No, right? Answer the question, and if you're wrong, we'll correct it together. right? We will correct it together, right? That's what we do here, right? We're a family. We're growing this thing together, family. So I promise you, never feel discouraged about anything. Answer the question to the best of your ability. And if you did not get it correct, then just go ahead and write down the answer so you can get it corrected later on, right? But back to blown accounts. Never fear the blown accounts, guys. It's a part of your tuition. Just like people go to college every single year and they pay tuition to learn in college, right? To learn all that information. Our blown accounts and our losses in the market is the tuition that we're paying to try to really learn this skill set. I paid a ton of tuition in the beginning ages, right? I paid a ton of tuition, right? But because I stuck with this, but because I mastered my discipline, I mastered my awareness, I was able to really get better at managing and controlling my emotions. I've now made that tuition back tenfold, right? That's the name of the game here, right? It's really learning how to get to a point where all this tuition that you're paying, you're able to make it back. Now, here's a little nugget as well for everybody in the U.S. I can't speak for other countries, but for you guys in the U.S., $6,000 of that tuition is also a tax deduction. Oh my God, that's a nugget, right? Because I'm pretty sure, again, this is something I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys probably are not aware of, but losses in trading, you can actually write that stuff off in your taxes. I'm just saying, just throwing this out there, right? As far as I knew, last I checked, it was up to $6,000, right? So not only are we paying this tuition, but we can also use it as a tax write-off. I'm using that tax write-off every chance I get. I'm just saying. Right? I'm just saying. But yeah, it's all about paying tuition, right? We're here to really learn, get better, pay the tuition that we have to pay right now, because later on in the future, we're going to really be in phenomenal great shapes, right? So let me go ahead and see what else we got here in the chat. All right, let me see what else we got here in the chat real quick. All right, I love when you guys are extremely active. I love when you guys are engaged. And I see we got Florida in the building. Shout out to you guys out there in Florida. I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for being a part of the familia. Let's see. Blown accounts equal battle stripes. Yep. That's all a part of the process. Don't ever feel discouraged, guys, if you lost, if you've been taking numerous losses. It's all a part of the game. Just take it with stride. Understand what you're doing wrong. Have the awareness to get better. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. Right? That's literally what it comes down to. Right? I see we got Dom Dada in the building. What's going on? Shout out to you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Shout out to Skaggs. I love his trading mindset. Yeah, that boy is real. He's raw as hell, but he going to keep it 1,000% honest with you every single time. All right, 100% honest with you every single time. Let's see what else we got here. We're still trying to write off year one losses 7 years. Yeah, right? That's usually what it is, right? Let's see. I didn't know that. I could have used that information, Mark, right? But now you know for the next one, baby. But let's go ahead and take a look at the markets, guys, and see what we really got going on. Right, as usual, we're going to talk about, this is pretty much my watch list, guys, the ones that I really like to look at the most. If you guys do have different pairs that you guys want analyzed, I don't mind looking at them, but I will be saving those near the end of the session once I'm able to really go ahead and get through a bunch of these, because you're going to realize really quickly, this stream, at least for me, at least the way I take it, like these streams, we're on it usually for an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it goes by really quickly for some reason. I don't know if it's just me, probably because I'm the one doing all the damn speaking and stuff like that. But these sessions be flying, right? And it seems like I don't even be having enough time to even go through all these, mainly just because I be yapping with y'all, all right? I be talking, I be really giving you guys insight. I be really talking my ish, so I be feeling like it be flying. Right, but I do plan on trying to get through as many of these as possible. And again, maybe near the end, if we do have some more time, I don't mind really taking a look at any other pairs that you guys want analyzed as well. All right, so let's see what we got here, guys. So taking a look at the dollar. The dollar, is pretty much doing exactly what we've been expecting. We've been calling bearishness for the dollar. Literally since all the way up here at around 104. Right, literally since 104. Once we actually seen price create this high, we were bullish. But when price ended up coming back below this 103,500 level, ever since we came back below this level of structure, I've been telling you guys that, man, I'm just expecting more bearishness now, right? And the reason for that is because if we really look at things from the weekly perspective, all right, it's very important for us to really look at things from a bigger perspective, right? One of the biggest things that I really like doing, guys, is getting the habit of reading price action, especially from a higher time frame. I'm very, very big, guys, on doing higher time frame analysis because, I mean, that really tells us the overall bigger story. Like, yeah, you can use smaller time frames to try to create a story, but there's also a lot of noise on those smaller time frames. So if you guys ever get to a point where you guys are analyzing your favorite time frame, right, whether it be the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, whatever it is, but yet the market looks very and you're not able to really understand it, go up a time frame. Okay, that's a nugget, family, right? That's a gem right there. If you ever go to your trading your trading time frame and you feel like you don't understand what's going on, try going up another time frame. Try going up 2 time frames if you have to, because the higher time frame usually is able to tell you a much clearer story of what's actually going on. All right, and when you're able to get those higher time frame outlooks and you're able to go ahead and get that clearer story once again, then you can go back to lower time frame and really go ahead and start to get back into it. I actually had to do that as well at the beginning of this week, right? Because this week overall, for the most part, guys, it's been a lot of choppiness, right? We are starting to see a lot more downside right now for the dollar, which is again something that we expected, but it was a little bit choppy this week. Okay, so sometimes you got to take a step back and just go back up to a higher time frame just so that you can confirm what the direction is and confirm what you really want to look for. All right, so let me see. I appreciate you, bro. I know I'm going to be great if I stick with it. It's already done, Tony, right? You already made that decision that you're going to do this and you're going to be great at it, and it's already done. Now you just got to put in the time, put in the effort, and you'll see it make it. You'll see it make happen. You'll see it come into fruition in no time. Let's see, lot size, lesson, risk management. We need more light on this. I got you, Michael. I got you. Let's see. Let's go. It's the water, I'm telling you. Let's see. You the man, Chief. I appreciate Alex. Right? I definitely appreciate you, bro. Crazy thing is, I normally don't even, this is a bad habit of mine, but I normally don't even drink too much water. But every time I come on this stream, I got to have a bottle of water with me by all times. Guys, but again, back to this. All right, so why was I really looking for more downside here for the euro? Or not for the euro, but for the dollar itself. Right now, if you're new to the stream, guys, I analyze the dollar index a lot. And I have my reasons for that, right? The main reason is because this is the strongest currency of the world, right? Like this is the number one currency, right? And I mean, like majority of the money that's flowing through these markets, majority of the transactions that happen in the world, they happen in USD, right? So I really like to look at this because it pretty much takes a lot of the guesswork away when I'm looking at other pairs that are dollar related. If you look at my chart here, my hit list, I trade mainly USD pairs, mainly USD assets. That's mainly what I trade, right? So for me, it makes so much sense for me to really look at what the dollar's gonna do, because now it takes all the guesswork at what all of these ones are gonna do. The only one that's really not against the dollar here is GJ, pound yen, and that's just because I love pound yen. So we really seen this, guys, because I was able to read price action. All right, I seen that we were at a level of supply, very strong level, that last time we were up at this level, we seen price reject from this level up here at around 103,500. We seen price come back up again, give us another rejection. We seen price come out here recently, break above this level, reach all the way up to around 104.9. But then the next week that follows, we had a massive sell-off that brought us right back below this range, right? When I look at things like that, guys, right, I'm just looking at that as major rejections of that supply zone. And I'm using that information to help me predict more selling pressure to come into play. And we had exactly just that. In fact, we had so much selling pressure that if you look at this current weekly candle, we didn't even have no top wick. This thing just opened and immediately the market just started dropping for the dollar. So that shows that we do have a lot of bearish momentum here for, the dollar itself. Now, the next question is, all right, we see this happening, Abel, right? Where can we go to next? What can we expect next? Well, my bias is still the same thing. I still think we're going to see some more downside. I would love to see price come to around the 99 level, the 100 level for the dollar itself before we potentially go back to the upside, right? Because, I mean, at least for me right now, like we're still dealing with a lot in this world. If you look at the screen right here, we were talking about yesterday, and this is why I really want you guys to go ahead and take a look at yesterday's session, right? Because yesterday we were talking about sentiment in the markets, right? When there is fear in the markets, and this is why, I went in depth on this yesterday, guys. Very important. Make sure to watch yesterday's session, right? But when there is fear and there's uncertainty in the markets, right, that's when we typically, or investors typically, or institutions typically go to a risk-off sentiment. And when we're in a risk-off sentiment type of market, these are the things that typically benefit during risk-off environments, right? So we have things like U.S. bonds, U.S. treasuries, right, that are known as safer, less riskier plays during times of uncertainty and chaos. We have gold, the dollar, the Japanese yen, Swiss franc, which are already been known as safe haven currencies that typically gain value during times of chaos, uncertainty, and fear. I mean, what are we dealing with today, family, that might cause fear and uncertainty in the markets? Answer that in the chat. Answer that in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. What are we experiencing today that might be causing fear, uncertainty in the markets? Let's see. Send the stream link out to every trader you know. 100%. 100%, right? I guarantee you we'll be able to give them some value. Guaranteed. Let's see. Thank you for your time and your wealth of knowledge. I appreciate you, Letty. Thank you for that. All right, I'm just here being a servant leader. That's all. All right, let's see. Always good to drink lots of water. I know, and I'm trying to change that. Let's see. He gonna get the chick in that bottle, right? Right. You already know. You already know, Savage. Right. I get into my modes, and I start using this damn bottle of water as a pointer, and I feel like I'm just pointing at you like, that. All right, it'd be like that. Let's see. Top down analysis. Yep, we're gonna get into that for sure. All right. We have recession. Right. That's definitely one of the biggest things. Right. We're actually gonna talk about that. Right. Because I actually learned something new today as well when it comes to recession. Right. Inflation, 100%. Inflation is probably the biggest talk of the town right now. Inflation is the one thing that pretty much every central bank in the world, at least for the countries that are experiencing from a bigger perspective, like everybody's trying to figure out exactly how to handle inflation, right? So inflation is definitely one of the biggest ones for sure. Right? War is another one, right? Obviously, this whole situation with Russia and Ukraine is a big deal. Right, because now we're adding on to the supply chain issues that already were existing before the war even started. Right, COVID really did a lot of damage, guys. Not just to our economy here in the U.S., but I mean across the entire world. Right, COVID really did a major number on it. Right, so COVID really caused a lot of supply chain issues, but this whole situation with Russia and Ukraine is only making it even more drastic. Right, where now there's even possibility of a food shortage. Right, we're talking about global food shortages that are now a real possibility. And it's not, I'm not going to say it's directly because of those issues with Russia and Ukraine, but they are playing a big part in it. Right, so yeah. Let's see. Inflation, no work, food shortage, yep. Recession. You're a market maker, right? I'll take that, right? I like that. Let's see. Have no fear. Keep your eyes on the charts. You invest. That's a good point. Let's see, war, food shortages, interest rates, inflation. Yeah, exactly. Right? Those are all causes of fear and uncertainty. Right? Interest rates, which again, interest rates is really only going up. It's more of a byproduct of inflation and trying to control inflation. But yeah, interest rates is another big one. Interest rates going up, guys, is going to make it more expensive to actually borrow, which in return is going to cause a lot more people to not want to spend money. That's the whole point, right? The whole point of raising interest rates is to try to control spending that's occurring. Because if we continue, and the crazy thing is, retail sales just came out, and people are still spending, right? Spending is still happening, right? Which is why I truly believe inflation really isn't going to be fully under control just yet, right? Because we actually seen retail sales data came out, and it came out higher, right? It came out right as expected and higher than expected, right? So as long as we're continuing to spend, then inflation is probably not going to turn around and come back down, which is why the Federal Reserve, guys, is being very, very aggressive with tightening monetary policy, right? Which is why they pretty much already said that they're doing 50 basis point interest hikes at least for the next 2, 3, 4 meetings, right? So by the end of this year, interest rates right now are what, 1%? Or I believe it's around 1% still for the U.S. All right, let me see. Let me actually go ahead and confirm that. I believe it's 1%, right? But by the end of this year, guys, we're talking about interest rates can be at around 3%, right? That's a big drastic change, right? And they're being this aggressive because they have no choice, right? We have to get inflation under control. That's a big deal, guys, right? I mean, gas in the U.S. has absolutely been going crazy. Gas 2 years ago, right? Gas prices 2 years ago on average was what? Maybe around $2, right? Gas today on average, it's around $4.55 a gallon. Thanks to inflation. I'm pretty sure you guys are also noticing the price of goods like food. Price of food is going up. The price of everything is going up. That's inflation, right? And the way that inflation is going right now, if we do not get it under control, guess what family, what households are truly going to feel it even more? Let me know in the chats, guys. Right? Why is getting inflation under control a very big deal? Who knows this answer? Right? Because inflation right now, real inflation is probably at around 9%. If the economy, or if the price of goods is going up year over year by 9%, but yet wages, how much we're getting paid, is not going up whatsoever, that's a big deal. Yeah, Carol, exactly. Right? Because if we're seeing the price of goods go up 8%, 9% year over year, but yet everybody's wages, how much you're making at your job, at your career, is staying the same, then the poor is going to get poorer. Yeah, exactly, Tara. Right? The poor is going to get poorer, but guess who else? The middle class is also going to start feeling this as well. Because whether you're in lower income communities, right, or you're in the middle class communities, typically middle class folks are still living paycheck to paycheck. Don't get it twisted. You could be in the middle class, but still living paycheck to paycheck. Shoot, you can be in the top tier class. You could be considered rich and still be living paycheck to paycheck. Don't get it twisted. You could be making $1 million a year, but your expenses that you are constantly spending is $950,000 a year. You're living paycheck to paycheck. So for anybody that's living paycheck to paycheck, then yeah, we have to get inflation under control for them. Because then that's going to start a whole different political talk. That's going to start a whole different talk. Right? Because if people are not going to be able to afford things like groceries, like gas, if people are not going to be able to control or are not going to have enough money to even pay for their mortgage, see, then it's going to start different cycles that they're trying to avoid. But I said this last time too, right? The Federal Reserve does have a very, very tough job right now. Every central bank does have a tough job, right? Because we're pretty much battling between trying to control inflation and trying to save us from going into a recession, right? It's either we be super aggressive and get inflation under control, right, with sending us into a recession, or they try to be aggressive in a very calm manner and try to not get us into a recession, right? It's a very tough job what they're doing now, guys, right? They have not an easy job whatsoever. But again, that's pretty much where we're at from a fundamental standpoint. There's a lot going on, right? There is a lot going on right now. For real, right? So that's just a little bit that I want to talk to you guys about. Again, so looking at the news, guys, right? We actually had GDP numbers come out. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, right? Because we actually had this data come out today. And I'm looking at this data, and I'm looking at it because it said previous. I'm thinking last quarter, which would have been the fourth quarter of last year, right? I was looking at this as the last quarter, fourth quarter of 2021, that we actually had negative growth, which meant this quarter that we're experiencing now, which also came out negative, that would have been textbook a recession. But after doing more research, and this is something I should have did as well, I actually realized that this news release was just a revision of this, right? This previous number was literally for quarter 1, and all they did was they revised it to what it actually came out as. So we're still not technically in a recession, right? Now, a textbook definition of a recession, I want you guys to answer this in the chat. What is it? Right? I know a lot of you guys are already aware of it because we've been talking about it heavy, right? What is the textbook definition of a recession? I'm going to give you guys some time to answer this because it might be a little bit of a statement. I'm just going to chug my water real quick. What is a textbook definition of inflation? Let's see. Higher interest rates cause higher unemployment. 100%. 100%. Right? Because interest rates are going higher, that means the profit is going to be far less. The profit margins for a lot of these businesses, they're going to have a much tighter profit margin now because everything is going up. Interest rates are going up. The cost of lending is going up. The cost of goods is going up. So their profit margin is starting to decrease. In order for them to actually try to combat that, they're going to start firing people left and right. So yeah. Let's see. My queen started taking public transportation to work because of the price of gas. I'm telling you, it happens. Like it really does. Let's see. 2 negative rates in a row. There we go. 20 pips. Exactly, right? So the textbook definition of a recession is when we have 2 quarters back to back that are showing negative growth. Okay? It's 2 quarters, 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. That is what typically leads to a recession. Or that's the textbook definition of a recession. So what we need to do now, since this was only the revised, or this is actually just a revision of negative 1.4%, we still have to wait till next quarter's release, which will be for quarter 2. And if that comes out negative, see, now we are in officially a textbook recession. Right? I hope is this making sense, family? Drop a 3 in the chat if this is making some sense, right? Because again, this is the important stuff right here, right? I feel like I'm giving an economics course right now. Right? And that's something that that I actually am considering doing, like actually really going back to school to really learn more on economics. That's what I want to do, right? I really want to really get good at this. I really want to take my understanding of fundamentals to a whole nother level. All right, so that's what we had. But either way, guys, I mean, even with the revision still came out bad, right? It's still showing that we had even more negative growth than what was even predicted before, right? So this is still not good. Even the revision still came out worse, right? But we did have some positive data for today, right? We did have positive data that came out with the initial jobless claims, right? This has to do with the unemployed people, right? The amount of people that actually filed for unemployment for the first time. All right, so the prediction was for us to have 215,000 people that filed for unemployment for the first time. Last time this reading actually came out came out at 218, right? So they were actually predicting a downtick in it. It actually came out way less than what they was even expected. So this is looked at as positive for the economy. If you ask me, right, we actually seen a nice bounce in the indices, all right? I know a lot of you guys like trading things like US 30, NAS 100, SPX 500. I know a lot of you guys are really into that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, right? Because those are, some very, very fast-moving assets, right? But if you really look at how they played out, over the past day, 2 days, right, we actually did see a nice bounce in the markets, right? Look at this, right? Actually, this entire week, right? We've been having a nice bounce in the indice market this entire week. Right, so I think, and again, this is just my opinion, right? We're all able to have our opinions in this. But my opinion is that we also had a nice rally today because of this positive data that actually came out with the initial jobless claims. Because today we actually had a pretty decent move. Right, and again, it could have been on the backbone of us having positive data in the markets. All right. Now, again, you can always argue that, yeah, some of these things are already priced in, and I get it, right? But there's times still where the market is going to react to this type of data, right? Because when we're talking about sentiment in the markets, right? A lot of institutions and investors, they make decisions based off the data that's being shown. So we had positive data that came out. Typically, a lot of people will look at a news release. And again, this is something that I'm guilty of, right? When I first started trading and I started looking at these calendars, I used to think like, man, if we have positive data for the US, that it's going to cause the actual currency to increase, which again, there's at times that it does, because a lot of these data releases are really priced in, right? But the way I look at it now is if whenever we have positive data from a type of a news release like initial jobless claims or a GDP or anything like that, I'm not necessarily going to say that that's a positive for the actual currency itself. I'm saying that that's going to be more of a positive for the economy as a whole, which is going to probably benefit certain riskier assets, right? Like stock market, things like that, right? Plays like that. Because when investors or institutions are looking to get involved in something, right, they're really trying to figure out what the sentiment is overall, right? And when I say they're trying to figure out what the Fed's sentiment really is, right? The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, and that whole team, right? Because if they're hawkish or dovish in the markets, investors and institutions make decisions based off that type of sentiment. So we did have positive data that actually came out though today, right? We did, right? For the U.S. economy, which again is probably, in my opinion, a reason why we did see this thing finally actually go ahead and break structure, right? And also why we're just still seeing a weaker dollar come into play, right? Because we've been seeing the dollar pretty much drop, since last week. We've really been seeing a lot of selling pressure, right? So with all that being said, guys, that was pretty much my fundamentals 101 for today. Now let's go ahead and get into really looking at currencies and seeing what type of setups that we might have going into today. All right, so I think for me, long term, I'm still thinking more sell side for the dollar for the time being, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at gold and really start off with something like gold. I know gold is definitely a fan favorite. There's a few that are fan favorites, like the indices are fan favorites. Gold is a fan favorite. Pound yen, GBPJPY is a fan favorite. So I'm gonna really go ahead and definitely take a look at those as well. All right, just so that we're all on the same page. All right, so let's see what we got here, guys, for gold. Gold, for the most part, has really seen, a lot of selling pressure come into play. I mean, all the way since, April 18th, April 17th, so pretty much an entire month, we've seen just a lot of selling pressure for gold. I mean, if you ask me, it was definitely very surprising, especially how weak it was. Like, looking at gold, guys, and seeing this thing decline just really shows how strong the dollar has been, right? Because the dollar has been absolutely on fire, right? But we did end up coming down to this supply zone, or this demand zone, I mean. And then off of this demand zone, guys, we really just started seeing price finally start to rebound off of it. Now, the question is what are we going to do for gold next? Are we actually going to continue flying? Or are we actually going to go ahead and get back into that more of a bearish tone? Now, it really depends on how you're going to be looking at the markets from a fundamental standpoint, all right? Because in my opinion, all right, again, in my opinion, I would love to see this thing eventually rebound and continue higher. I've been looking to really buy gold for a while. In fact, like I really don't be selling gold too often, right? There's too much chaos in the world, right? Remember what I said about risk off sentiment, right? When there's chaos and fear in the markets, a lot of investors and institutions typically like to hoard gold, right? And that's just a fact. So I would love to see more upside for gold. The question is, where and when, or what can we do now to try to get involved, all right? So looking at gold, guys, what have we ultimately done over the past week, all right? Well, again, we did see price go from creating lower lows, and this is just very easily, very basic reading structure. Lower lows, we've been seeing price create lower highs, right? We created this lower low down in this demand zone, and then ever since then, we really started to shift price and shift structure and start creating higher low. Now we created a higher high. Now we're starting to pull back. We're in the middle of a complex correction, right? But this is something I want you guys to be aware of. Okay, yesterday I spoke about pretty much a few steps that I look at, guys, when I'm really trying to identify opportunities. Step number one is to identify the overall trend or the current flow of the market. I believe right now for the dollar itself, our trend went from a downtrend, right, because we were seeing a lot of selling pressure, to now I'm actually expecting a possible shift in that trend, and I'm going to be looking for more upside, personally speaking, for gold. All right, another easy way to do it as well, I have two moving averages on my screen right now, right? One of them is very, very, very light, but I do have the 50 period EMA, exponential moving average, and I also have the 20 period EMA on my screen. Again, the 20 period EMA is very, very light. Let me go ahead and just darken it up for you guys so you guys can see it, because I don't know if you guys will be able to see it on the screen because it is super, super light. All right, so let me go ahead and just dark this up so you guys can really see it. There we go. All right, so that's the 20 period moving average. And this is just a very, very simple way, guys, of really trying to identify the trend, right? Whenever the 20 period moving average is above the 50, just like this, when this blue line, which is the 20, is above the black, which is the 50, and this is a very basic way of identifying a trend, right? But whenever this is like this, we are in an uptrending market. All right, whenever it's the flip side, we are in a downtrending market. I mean, let's look at what the market has did last time, right? All of the past, the past few weeks, right? We've been seeing the dollar absolutely drop, right? So we've seen the shift in structure. We've seen market start to pull back, and then guess what we've seen? We've seen the cross of the moving averages, and every single time since we crossed and we were in this downtrend, as long as price stayed below the moving averages, and as long as the blue moving average was below the black, you can see that we were selling, like we were in selling territory this whole time. Like, look at how simple this is. Again, trading really needs to be simple, right? So if you have to use moving averages or a tool like that to help you identify certain things, then use it, right? There's nothing wrong with that, all right? Because we can see clearly that this market was in sell side territory because, for one, the moving averages was telling us that when we actually crossed. And as long as we stayed below the moving averages, we're good to go to sell off. So we could have been looking for sells all day long. Every time price decides to pull away, that's not the time to jump in, right? But when price pulls back, now that's the time to really go ahead and look for a shorting opportunity, because we know we're in a sell-off. We know we're in a downtrend because of the moving averages. So whenever we pull back, look for the continuation. Look again, when price pulls back, again, if price breaks above it, you might want to just sit on your hands a little bit, right? But when we come back below it and retest it again, selling opportunity, right? Price pulls back up, selling opportunity. Price pulled back up, selling opportunity. Again, when price breaks above it, though, that's pretty much no trade land. You don't want to trade it when price is currently above the moving averages, because that could lead to a potential reversal, which is what happened here, right? So now guess what? Now we just flip it. Again, right now the moving averages are pretty much going sideways, so we still have to be mindful of this, right? Sideways moving averages can easily just, there's pretty much no trade land, right? But if the moving averages really start to shift and go higher, all we got to do is same thing. Price pulls away, is no trading. When it pulls back to the moving averages, look for that next move. When it pulls back, look for that next move. That's just a very simple way of riding a trend in the markets by simply using moving averages. Do you have a video explaining moving averages? I do have a couple videos. Actually, one of my videos on a simple strategy does break down this concept right here. All right, so right on my YouTube, it's a regular video. I'll have it right there. Right, these moving averages, the 50 and the 20. Right, the 50 is the black one. The blue one is the 20. Right, now for those of you guys that don't know what a moving average is, guys, it's pretty much just an indicator, right? It's an indicator that moves on the average of the candlesticks that we are playing off of, right? So if we're on a 4-hour time frame, every single candlestick here is 4 hours, right? So it's going to move on the average of the period that we set it to, right? So if we have a 50 period moving average, it's going to move based on the average of the last 50 candlesticks. The 20 period moving average, which is the blue one, this is going to move based off the average of the last 20 candlesticks for this time frame that we're on. That's all it does. All right. So we'll really have to see. But what I think can happen, right? So besides the moving averages, what I would like to see here, guys, for gold coming into today, right? And I'm just gonna make the blue one a little bit lighter again, just because I like to just make it as light as possible for me, right? But what I think can actually happen, right? When I'm looking at price and I'm looking at where we can potentially go for gold, right? I'm definitely gonna be looking for areas of structure that we can really go ahead and play off of. All right, so after we identify the trend, which is the first thing I typically like to do, is to identify the trend. The second thing I like to do is I like to identify levels of structure, right? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start off with something else, right? What I like to do after I identify the trend is I like to mark off my trading range, right? Like, where's the last impulsive move of this market, right? Well, let's say we have this higher high right here, broke this level of structure. Higher low, right? And then we pretty much had this whole swing high up here, right? So if we're talking about identifying our last range that we could be playing off of, right, then I will be playing off of this swing low down here and this swing high up here, right? This will be pretty much my trading range that I'm going to be playing in between swing low to swing high. As long as price, again, if I'm expecting a bullish gold, which again is my bias right now, is that we are going to be going bullish, right? So that means as long as we do not violate these lows, the low of the range, then we can see a complex pullback, which is probably what I'm expecting realistically speaking, right? We can experience a complex pullback and still go ahead and continue in the trend that we initially expect. Right, so with that being said, the next thing that I like to do, guys, after I identify my trading range that I know I'm going to be playing off of, right, and the reason why this is important is because if we end up breaking below this level, guys, then, I mean, I'm probably going to experience just more downside. All right, if we end up breaking below this level, then I'm probably going to be expecting more downside for gold. All right, and then we'll probably go ahead and see much lower levels, right? But then after we create our range, then I like to identify levels of structure. Right, which is pretty much areas where we have previously seen in the past that price has reacted from. Right, so this level right here at around 1830s, guys, is definitely an area that I'm interested in. Another level as well that I'm gonna be interested in is also gonna be around this 1820 level. Right, we have two areas of interest that I'm really going to be paying attention to, you know, if we do see price actually continue in this correction that we're seeing now. Let me go ahead and highlight these. All right, and the reason why I'm liking these is because, again, I'm just using what price action is showing me. Previous support, turned resistance, turned back into support. So there's always a chance for price to go ahead and get down to these levels, act as support once again, and then give us an opportunity to go long. All right, again, even this level down here at around 1820 is an area that has acted as support, acted as support and resistance, acted as support and resistance. So there is a chance for price to even break that normal, that 1830, to come down to there, so then we can go ahead and ride out higher as well. All right, it's always about identifying those key levels, guys, and then just reacting to what the market does. Now, the reason why I think we can see a push back down, I'm not just predicting that just randomly, right? I'm also using evidence on the chart to make this decision. Right, so another reason why I think we will see, or we could see, a potential sell-off, if we don't, it is what it is that we actually broke structure on these smaller time frames, right? Let me go ahead and go to lower time frames now. Let's see. Do the EMEs get crazy on the lower time frame? It definitely do, right? It can get very choppy on lower time frames, but you still use them in a similar manner. Let's see what else we got here. Right, shout out to Kendrick Ray in the building. I appreciate you, Kendrick, for being a subscriber. Thank you for being a part of the familia. I appreciate you. I didn't even get to hear the little bring, bring, bring because I had my speaker off, but I appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Thank you for being subscribed. Hopefully, I'm able to give you some value here. Right, but the reason why I'm looking at a potential move lower here, guys, for gold is that we've seen price give us a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, but then what did we see? All right, what did we see there? right? Who knows that? What did we see there, guys? Right, we were just in the process of creating these higher highs and higher lows, but we also just noticed a break of structure. Okay, a break of structure. I hope you guys see that. Right, this is our last higher low point, higher low to higher high, and then we went from a higher high straight to a lower low. Right, whenever we go from a higher low, higher high, straight to a lower low, that could potentially be a clue or evidence that a reversal might be happening, or at least a different type of pullback. So since we had that, I would not be surprised, and what I'm looking for, and this is me personally, right, what I'm looking for, there's the ding, ding, ding. Let's see who else. Raphael, I appreciate you. Welcome to the family, Raphael. Everybody make some noise for Raphael in the building. Drop some welcomes, welcome. Like I always tell you guys, let's go ahead and support everybody that's on the channel. Everybody that's a part of the Familia, right? And let's really show them some love and let them know that they made the right decision to be subscribed. So Raphael, I appreciate you. You get your name on the screen now, and I hope I'm able to provide you with some value. Right, so what I think can happen now going into tonight and tomorrow, right, is I wouldn't be surprised if we did see price maybe spike up to around 1860, and off of this order block that we have right here, we see price actually give us a move lower. Right, that's what I would really like to see. Right, again, first area is going to be around 1830s that I'll be interested in. All right, 1830s. But I also think that 1830 is going to be an interesting level, right? Because it is a level that could potentially hold. But I also think that we also have a chance to really even reach towards, again, the 1820 level. And I'm going to fine tune these areas of interest, right? Just so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. All right, just like around there. So again, 1830s. 1830s, guys, is a level that we can pay attention to 100%. I mean, we seeing evidence of it, right? It's not something just me making up. No, we seeing evidence that price could possibly react from this level because it has in the past. But one thing that we also have to be aware of is all this clear price action that we're seeing right here. Right? You see this strong push up of structure, right? All of these bullish candlesticks, right? I like to say that that's a nice clear run right there, right? That's also leaving back a whole bunch of imbalance behind. And typically, not always, but typically when we see imbalance, it usually gets corrected and gets filled. So yeah, 1830s is going to be the first area that I think we're going to come down towards and reach towards. But I would not be surprised if we actually, instead of staying at that 1830, we might bounce off of it just to entice some buyers, build up more liquidity down here. But I think we actually run it, come down to around the 1820s, maybe even a little bit lower, right, to really correct this move, even maybe to around, say, 1817s. And then from there, there's a possibility for price to really rebound and start going back into that trend that I think we're going to go into, right? Clean traffic, exactly, right? This whole move right here, I feel like this move is going to get corrected, right? And again, there's a lot of deep explanations for it, a lot of different reasons why, you know, everybody has their own interpretation of why stuff like this gets corrected, right? Imbalances, you know, I mean, there's mad stuff, right? And I'm going to leave that for a whole different session, a whole different video that I'm going to create on that stuff. But overall, this is what I think my blueprint is going to be for gold. Now, if things change, then things change, right? If price actually ends up breaking up here and doesn't do none of this nonsense down here, then it is what it is, right? It is what it is, right? We'll go ahead and just catch the rebound and then continue like that instead. Right? I hope that makes sense. Let's see. You missed a new subscriber. Did I miss a new subscriber? Who did I miss? All right, because I want to make sure I give everybody love. Right? I want to make sure I give everybody love, right? All my subscribers. I want to give all you guys, I want to show you guys all some love for sure, right? Who did I miss? If I didn't shout you out, please let me know, because I want to make sure you get the welcome that you deserve. All right, but overall, this is what I'm looking at for gold, guys. Very interesting to see, right? We'll definitely be looking for potential shorting opportunities probably going into tonight. And then maybe tomorrow, who knows, maybe the end of the week, Friday, right? We might be able to really catch a nice buying opportunity. But for now, I would not be surprised, guys, if we're able to really look for some shorts from around 1860. Right? 1860 is where I'm really going to be looking for some possible shorts here, for gold, right? And if it doesn't hold, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry or complain. I have no issue taking a loss, right? That's probably one of my biggest things, right, is that I don't care about taking losses, right? What did we say about yesterday, guys, right? That's why, again, watching the streams is so key, right? Yesterday, I talked to you guys about being a professional loss taker, right? How many of you guys in the chat are professionals at taking losses yet? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are not professionals yet at taking losses, right? Maybe a handful of you guys, but I'm pretty sure a good amount of you guys are still not professionals at taking losses, right? Because you might be a professional at taking wins, and even that, you might not even be a professional at taking wins. It just might happen, right? Because if you still get extremely excited about wins and things like that, then you're really not a professional just yet, right? Because you shouldn't have no emotions attached to anything, right? Like, you shouldn't have no emotions attached to the wins, no emotions attached to the losses. So if you still jump up and down because you want to trade, then I'm sorry, but you're probably still not a professional winner just yet. Because my emotions, me personally, guys, and again, it just comes with experience, right? I've been trading now for over 7.5 years, right? But if I take a win, it is what it is, right? It's literally just a part of the game plan, right? If I take a loss, I'm the same exact way. My emotions don't change if I'm winning or if I'm losing. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back, right? Now I'm swinging my bottle of water. I got to make sure this thing is closed, because one of these times, I promise you, I'm going to end up shaking this bottle of water and I'm going to ruin my whole setup, right? But I know for a fact that a lot of you guys, when you take wins, you're very surprised, right? You start getting very emotional. You're ecstatic. You're jumping up and down. I mean, how many of us have done the screenshot thing, right? This is how you guys know that I've really been trading, right? This is how you guys know, right? How many of us, all right, let me see, right? Right now, I'm in a little bit of profit, right? But typically, when we're in profit and we're trading, right, a lot of us, what we typically do is we're like, oh, man, we're winning. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot, right? And then you take a screenshot, and then what do you do with that screenshot? Typically, you're going to go ahead and send that in your group chat. You're going to go ahead and text that to your trader friend, your mentor, right? You're gonna go ahead and tell that to somebody else, right? But this is a nugget that I also got from my guy Skaggs, right? Because this is something I went through. Anytime for me personally, right? Whenever I was in profit and I was so emotional that I had to take a screenshot of it just to prove that I was winning, an hour later, I ended up losing on that trade. Who can relate to me? Who can relate? Right? It seems like every time I would try to celebrate by taking a screenshot so that I can brag or I could boast or I could show somebody else, every time I took that screenshot, it always backfired on me. Because then within an hour, I'll end up lose on that trade. Right? It happens. Again, guys, how you know that I've been through the ringer in this trading game, right? And see, if it's good enough for the gram, it's good enough to close. Exactly. That's such a nugget. That is a nugget. The screenshot curse, yeah. Right, again, this is how you know that I've really been through it all. Like I said, there's not one thing that you guys went into that I haven't. They say, yeah, I'm in profit. Crap, wrecked again. Yep. I'm telling you, it always happens. It's like the market knows when we're over here trying to show off, when we start screenshotting our profits, it's like the market knows. And then within the hour, we're back in the negative now. In that screenshot that you just sent to your friend, if your friend goes and look at your markup now and he's like, yo, bro, how's your trade going, bro? You still in the blue? And now you got to try to backtrack like, yeah, bro, I took profits, bro. Don't worry. I took profits before it went down. Knowing damn well you lying. I'm telling you guys. It happens. Right? It happens. It really does. Right, let's see. I'm here is Derek Evans just subscribed. Shout out to you, Derek. I appreciate you, bro. Welcome to the family. Definitely want to make sure that you get your flowers for being a part of the family. I got to give you your flowers for subscribing. Like I said, family, I really am appreciative of all the subscribers. Right, I want to show love to every single one of y'all, right? So I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of the family. Welcome to the family, and I hope you're able to get some value from this. But let's get back to the screenshot curse, right? It happens. Right? It happens all the time. Let's see, your broker can detect when you take a screenshot. I'll be feeling that way. Right? I really do. Right? Let's see, bro. That man keeping tabs on me talking to my broker. I'm telling you. Not gonna lie, I've heard this a lot more than I've done it. Yeah, I've done it a crap ton of times. Right? That's how I know these things, right? I only speak on things that I personally experienced. So all these things like the screenshot curse, like, I mean, all this stuff, right? I've went through it, so I know I can speak on these things. All right, but this is what I'm thinking about for gold, guys. Me personally, I'm really interested in seeing if we can look for a shorting opportunity. So if we're able to really see price go ahead and possibly react from these areas up here, yeah, then I'll be very, very tempted to go ahead and look for a short. All right, 2 areas that we're going to be looking for. All right, I'm going to give you guys 2 different areas for gold because we do have 2 different order blocks that we can be playing off of. All right, I see we just had 2 new family members just hit subscribe. I definitely completely missed who that first one was, so I apologize. All right, I definitely apologize because I just missed out on who that first one was. But shout out to Saucin. I appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Thank you for being subscribed. Hopefully you're able to get some value. Hopefully you only subscribe just because you're getting value and not just because you wanted to see your name on the screen. Right? Because like I always say, guys, I want to earn your guys' subscriptions. Right? I don't want you guys to do it just because you want to see your name on the screen. I want you guys to do it because you guys are truly getting value. Right? But definitely welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate every single one of you guys that are being subscribed. Thank you guys for joining. But this is what I'm looking at for gold. Right? We're either going to see a reaction from this 1860 levels, right, off of this order block right here, or there's also a chance for price to even go up to this little higher order block at around 1866, and then we also look for potential shorts from there. And there's, if I'm being honest, there's also a chance where price doesn't do none of that and just drop or just continues to fly and completely just, you know, stops me out on both of these opportunities. All right, the thing is, I really don't care. All right, because the only thing that I can do is manage my risk correctly and then go from there. Let's see. The first one was Rashidi. I appreciate you, Rashidi. Thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much. I can only say it so much, but I really do appreciate every single one of y'all that are subscribed and joining the family. Right, but these are 2 different plays, guys, that I'll be looking for, you know, going into tonight for gold. But I do think we could see some more downside. I, at the very least, want to see price potentially come down and run these lows that we just created before we went back up. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few other ones, guys, see what we got going on. See, I told you, I feels like the time is flying. How is it already 11? We already been talking for an hour and 13 minutes, and I feel like we just started. Right, but let's go take a look at the other markets, guys, see what we got going on here. UJ, right? What did I tell you guys about UJ? All right, what did I tell you guys about UJ? Right, UJ is doing exactly what we've been expecting, right? It's been very, very choppy this week, right? Full transparency, it has been very, very choppy, right? But it is doing exactly what we've been wanting it to do, right? I've actually had 2 different positions open. I was break even on both of these positions, right? So I had no risk on the table. Unfortunately, when price decided to pull back on us earlier today, I did get stopped out of one of them, but I'm still technically in the other. Again, full transparency once again, I also did close out a lot of my position when we first initially seen price push down, right? Because price pretty much almost dropped damn near 100 pips overnight, right? Like yesterday, like, was it yesterday morning? Or this morning? Yeah, around this morning, guys, like we were up around almost 100 pips overnight, right? Literally from yesterday's session, I told you guys that I wanted to see that the only trade that I was actually in last night was USD/JPY. Everything else I was going to wait to see how news came out. But the only trade that I was currently in, which again I told you guys yesterday, was a USD/JPY sell that I had originally already took. So we woke up, this thing was up almost 100 pips by the time we woke up, right? I took a big portion of my account. I took 60% of my trade. I closed it out, so I was able to make some money. And then I went break even because I still think we have the ability to come down to around these 126 levels. So I'm still in one position now because my other one ended up getting stopped out at break even. And now we're finally starting to see price go ahead and roll over. So hopefully now, we're able to really see this thing finally come down to my take profit, which is at around 126. All right, so that's really where we're at for UJ. So overall, there's not really much that I could talk about this. I'm looking for more sells, right? So how can you guys get involved now? Or what can you guys do to possibly getting involved? Well, one thing that you guys could do is, in my opinion, is look for the resale, right? Look for the next opportunity to go ahead and get involved, right? So if we end up pulling back up maybe to the 50 period moving average, that can be an opportunity for you to go ahead and jump in and ride this thing out, right? But overall, I still have one position open, literally right around 127.45, right where my entry is up here, right? That's where my last position is open right there. Again, keep in mind, family, I'm not going to be jumping into no positions for UJ because I'm already in one currently, and I already made some money on this one, right? So I have no rush to try to jump back in. But for you guys, you could try to look for a pull back up towards the 50, see how you react, and then try to ride it out like that. So that's UJ. Let's see. Thanks a lot. Great info. Love how you break it down. I appreciate you, Sawson. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family for sure. Right? It means a lot. It really means a lot. All right, so Euro USD, right? Where are we at? I mean, Euro USD is doing exactly what we expected it to. Again, family, like I promise you, right? It has nothing to do with trying to be a psychic in the markets or having a crystal ball. It's just really correlating fundamentals with technicals to really give you the best chance of really accurately predicting what's happening, right? But for Euro USD, what I think is going to happen, or what I'm going to be looking for, is I really think we could see the Euro guys continue to push higher all the way up into around 1.09 level, right? Like I would love to see the Euro continue to at least reach up to there. But the thing that I'm going to be paying attention to, right? I do believe we're probably going to get up there, but I'm really going to be seeing how we react towards around this 1.076 level, which we're actually getting very, very close to. Because if we're looking at Euro USD, like I think we could really see price want to go ahead and spike down below into this area right here, this little pocket, this little liquidity zone. And there is a potential for us to pull back down into that level before we continue going higher. All right, because we do have a lot of clean traffic down there that I think might want to go ahead and get filled. All right, so with that being said, what do I think is going to happen with Euro USD going into tonight? Well, I believe there is a chance, right, for us to really find some structure or some resistance up here at this level up here at around 1.076, 1.08, right? Anywhere up in this level up here, guys, is really where I would start looking for opportunities, or not even really opportunities to short, but I will start to see if we can actually have an opportunity to really give us a correction, because I would love to buy the Euro if we're able to really get down into around this 1.062, 1.063 level. I would love to buy it from down there to then push us up into around 1.09. Right? But again, I don't control the markets. The market's going to do what it wants to do. So price can easily just say, nope, we're not going to pull back. We're just going to continue going, and we're just going to go straight up to that 109. So what I'm doing this week, or at least for the Euro, I'm sitting on my hands. All right, I'm going to be very patient. I'm sitting on my hands, and I'm going to let the market tell me what it wants to do. If we're able to see some type of a pullback tonight, then I'll be looking for an opportunity to go ahead and get involved off that pullback tonight. One thing that you guys can do as well, especially if you struggle with like identifying key levels, add the moving averages to your chart. All right, again, the 50 period EMA and the 20 period EMA is what I personally like to use. Right, so wait for the pullback, and on the pullback, then look for an opportunity to go long. All right, it's that simple. All right, because based off the moving averages on the 4 hour, what is the trend that we are currently in, family? Answer this in the chat. Answer this in the chat. Based off the trend that we're seeing right now, right? Based off the trend that we're seeing, based off the moving averages, what is the trend based off the moving averages? Answer that in the chat. Let me know in the chat, family. Yeah. All right, remember what he said about the moving averages. Whenever the 20 is above the 50, we are in a bullish market. I mean, look at all this opportunity that we have just came out of for the euro. Look at this. Right? We had the moving averages cross up here, which sent us into a bearish market. Every time price pushed away, pullback, opportunity to sell. Pullback, opportunity to sell. Price put all the way back. When it's above price, that's a no trade zone. But the moment we close back below it, opportunity to sell. Right? Pulled back, opportunity to sell. Now the market shifted. Right? Now the aqua is above the black line. Pull back. Push away. Pull back. Opportunity to buy. Pull back. Opportunity to buy. Right? So now if price is able to pull back, then that could be an opportunity to do what? Buy. It's really that simple. Right? Trading does not need to be complicated. I promise you, it really doesn't. Right? Trading really needs to be simplified like this. All right? We're already dealing with too many other different factors that have nothing to do with the charts. Right? In fact, like trading, like at least doing technical analysis, guys, that's the easiest part of the whole thing. It really is. Right? By far the easiest part of this whole thing is doing technical analysis. Right? Because we have to deal with so much other stuff. Right? So for Euro USD, is as simple now as either just waiting for the pullbacks and then trying to get long. If you're advanced, you can try to look for a shorting opportunity to get us down there. But what I recommend is just go with the opportunity that's going to give you the best probability. Right? Because I'm a probability trader. Right? I trade based off the best probability. Right? What's going to be the best probability in the markets? Right? And for right now, based off what we're seeing, the best probability will be to look for a buy. So on a pull back down, look to buy. Right? Another trick as well is that when you're going to be using these moving averages, also try to line it up with some type of structure. Right? When you're able to line up the moving averages and structure together, then you have a lot more confluence as well. So that's what I'll be looking for Euro. Me personally, though, I'm probably going to be sitting on my hands until we see some type of a pullback. All right, let's go take a look at pound yen, see what we got here for pound yen. Again, it's another fan favorite. And see what we got here, guys. So I was actually very, very interested in pound yen, but this market has been extremely, extremely choppy all week, right? Like extremely, extremely choppy. Like we really haven't done much, right? I've been really thinking that I wanted to see price go ahead and potentially sell off. I took a couple attempts at trading pound yen this week that ended up in break evens, right? Like literally, like I took a couple setups, right? And literally none of it worked out. Why? Because we're in very, very choppy market conditions right now. Like this thing is pretty much going sideways. Like all week this week, we really have not done nothing at all, right? Price is not that far off from where we pretty much opened on Sunday. Okay, so when we are dealing with choppy markets, you're bound to deal with a lot of, break even type trades. When you're able to get an entry and the market just pulls right back up and hits you out at break even. It is what it is. Right, so one thing you can do, and one thing I like to do when we do have choppy markets like that, where it starts to get a little bit harder to read, go up another time frame and see what the market is doing. On the higher time frame, what I'm seeing big engulfings, right? A lot of momentum still to the downside. Right, we had strong break to the downside, break of structure. We broke this low right here. Right, we did end up coming back to a major level of structure, which is pretty significant. Something to keep in mind. Right, but now we're still seeing a lot of selling pressure on this daily time frame, right? Big daily engulfings. So what I think that I'm gonna be looking for, and me personally, I would probably be leaning towards more so the downside more than anything. But if price ends up breaking structure to the upside, then I'll probably be changing my bias and just saying, all right, we're probably gonna go higher. But what I'm probably going to be doing this week is I'm probably just going to be sitting on the sidelines for GJ, right? I'm probably going to be sitting on the sidelines, just seeing what the market ultimately ends up doing. Because as of right now, there's really not much. We just been going sideways all week. Like, yeah, you could try to make your predictions from a higher time frame and saying this thing is probably going to sell. or if you want to make a prediction thinking if we get a breakout to the upside, possible continuation like that, yeah, you can make all those cases. For me, when I'm really not too confident on what's going to happen because price action is becoming very choppy and it's very indecisive, I just like to stay away from it. Remember, I like to ride trends. I'm more of a trend trader than anything, right? So I like to identify clear trends in the market, and then I like to take those type of opportunities. But when we have a lot of sideways price action like this, we really don't, at least for me personally, I'm not really seeing too much of a trend. Now, on the positive side of this, though, right, is typically whenever we do start to get in periods of accumulation or consolidation like this, we typically do see some big breakouts. Right, shout out to the Lone Rider, newest subscriber in the family. I appreciate you. Welcome to the familia. Thank you for actually being a part of this. Right, thank you so much. It means a lot. We got Veman in the building as well. Veman Adams saying, I appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Thank you for being subscribed. Definitely means a lot. I hope you subscribe because you're getting some value, because that's really what I'm after. Only want to earn you guys subscriptions. So welcome to the family to you guys as well, to both of y'all that just subscribed. I appreciate y'all. Family, please go ahead and drop some welcomes in the chat. Let's go ahead and give them the welcome that they deserve. Drop some welcomes in the chat. Right, welcome them how you would want to be welcomed into the community. All right, so for GJ, though, I'm chilling. I'm on the sidelines guy for GJ, right? Realistically speaking, I'm just going to be sitting on the sidelines, see what the market ultimately gives me. And then I'll just pretty much play it off of that, right? My long-term bias for GJ, though, right? My long-term bias, I really do think that we see bullishness eventually come into play. Like, that's been my bias for the longest, right? I'm just now looking how price is acting. And again, these bearish engulfings might not mean anything, but, you know, I really do want to see some bullish momentum come into play, you know, for pound yen, right? Just to really ride out with what we've been seeing. Because if you really look at GJ, guys, from the bigger perspective, you know, we really did come from like a nice, I mean, we've been pretty much trending to the upside. It's had a lot of choppy periods though, right? It really has a lot of periods where we've been extremely choppy, but for the most part, this thing has still been flowing to the upside, right? So that's really still what I eventually want to see, but I just need a little bit more clarity, you know, until we're able to really get that. So not really much I'm gonna be interested in going into GJ. Who knows? Maybe in the morning, maybe London session could show us something different, but in the morning time we might be able to play something else. But for now, I'm chilling. Yo estoy chilling. Let's go ahead and take a look at these indices, guys, and see what we got going on with here. Again, the indices did have a lot of momentum pretty much this week, right? They have been really seeing a lot more momentum more than anything. And it's very interesting to see what we really end up doing. But for me, again, I still think that we're going to see a lot more selling pressure coming very, very soon, right? That's just my general opinion. All right, I think we still have a lot more selling pressure coming in soon. You know, yeah, right now we are seeing a lot of momentum, right? But it was due. I mean, a lot of these indices, guys, have pretty much experienced like weeks and weeks and weeks of selling off, right? Like if we look at US 30, you know, it's about 8-9 weeks of just straight selling pressure, right? If we look at SPX 500, it's going to be very, very similar, right? We had 8 straight weeks, you know, of the market absolutely selling off. Right, so we might actually be due for a pullback, right? We might actually be due for some type of a correction, you know, higher, right? And that's normal, right? Every single market, guys, is going to have its cycles, is going to have its swings, right? That's a part of the entire thing. But I still believe, even if we do get these corrections, I still think we're going to experience more downside for a lot of these indices, right? And I could be wrong, you know, and again, if I'm wrong, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. You know, but that's what I'm leaning towards, right? Like I would not be surprised if we do eventually see more downside though. But as of right now, like it is looking like we are starting to see some relief. And I am actually in a shorting opportunity here for the NAS, right? So I'm already at break even for this position, so I can't lose either way, all right? Like I'm already at break even. And my stop is literally right back to this low over here. So I mean, if I get stopped out at break even, it is what it is, because this thing starts flying. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not risking anything now, right? I'm already at break even. But with that being said, right, if we do experience a pullback, I mean, you're going to start to see a lot of headlines with, oh man, stock market is back. Oh man, there's no more recession. Oh man, you're going to start seeing a lot of headlines all over the place, and just know how to react to it. But I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if we did start to see a deeper pullback. It's due. It's been due for one. Right? It's been due for one, right? I mean, in all reality, guys, like it has been, right? Yeah, obviously, we've been seeing a lot of selling. Like this is literally 8 weeks of just straight dropping, right? So we're talking about pretty much almost 2 months of straight dropping and dropping and dropping, and that's a big deal, right? So we are due for some type of a rebound, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if the rebound happened and then we end up just continue shorting. Right, so overall, I'm already in shorting opportunities, like I said, for NAS. So there's really nothing else that I want to see. Right, I want to see this thing collapse. All right, I want to see all this clear traffic right here get erased. I would love for that to happen. Right, like if we're able to really see prices come right back to here, shoot, I'm up a stupid bag. All right, like if I don't need it to drop all the way back down to the lows, I really don't need that. Right. Just right back down to here to around the 1205, right? 12,054, 12054 level. Look, I'm up a stupid bag, right? Like I'm up 5 figures if I'm able to really get prices able to come all the way down here. So I'll be completely fine with that. I'll be completely fine with that, right? All right. So overall, that's what I'm still gonna be looking for. I'm still gonna be looking for potential sell loss overall. All right. So let's see, they started dropping when the war started. That definitely is playing a part. The war was playing a part for sure. But there was a lot more to it as well. Right, but it is funny though. The war definitely did like really tie in because the war started around 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Right, but it's honestly been a mixture of different things. Right, obviously inflation right now has just been really tearing up a lot of these markets. Right, so the war has definitely been playing a part, but inflation as well was just, it was bound to send these markets much lower as well. Because again, it's that sentiment type of thing, right? Fear in the markets, uncertainty, right? Stocks are considered riskier plays, riskier assets to hold on to, right? So these type of things is like, those are the things that all play into part, right? But other than that, family, again, I'm going to have to call it quits for tonight off of that. Those are pretty much the things that I was looking at. Really not too many things that I'm going to be interested. It's been a very, very choppy, very, very slow week for me overall, trading wise. Only things that I'm currently in right now is just the UJ short and this NAS 100 short. Those are the 2 trades that I'm currently in right now, right? So if you're looking for anything tonight, then obviously that's probably what I would recommend you guys to look for, right? But other than that, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys were able to gain some value. Massive welcome to all the new subscribers. Once again, I appreciate you guys for subscribing. Hopefully you guys did it because you guys were able to get some love, some knowledge, some value from this video. And I hope you guys continue to tune in every single session and every single stream that I do provide you guys every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Because we are going hard, family, right? My goal is to be one of the biggest YouTubers, Forex content-wise, not just because of anything, but because of the value that I'm providing y'all, right? And I also seen somebody in the chat actually asked if I have a personal mentorship. I do not have no course or anything right now, but I do have a Telegram that every single one of you guys are more than welcome to actually be a part of. The link is literally in the bio down below. My Telegram, you guys can join that. Go ahead and be a part of the community, ask questions, interact. And if I don't answer the question, we have a lot of phenomenal traders that have really been stepping up that will be more than willing to provide you guys with value as well. So in the meantime, family, I appreciate y'all. I am going to be dropping a banger tomorrow as well, right? Another video, regular video, right? Again, live streams are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, regular videos, Sunday, Monday, and Friday. So I do plan on dropping a banger for you guys tomorrow, something educational that you guys can go ahead and take advantage of and start to apply going into next week. So I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. Thank you guys for everything, and I'll see you guys all. I'll see you guys on the next live stream next week, family. Let's get it. I see you guys in the chat as well. Appreciate y'all. Let's go.